Today we're going to be learning about comparing and ordering numbers. So right now we're dealing with whole numbers. Yesterday we learned about two new place values. That was the tenths place and the hundredths place. Today we're focusing on comparing and ordering using only whole numbers. So first off, let's talk about the signs we're going to be using. We have this sign, and this sign. Who remembers what this sign right here is called? This is the greater than sign. Greater than. What about this one? Good. This is the less than sign. So if I had a number in front of this would say this number is less than this one. For example, 4 is less than 5. Here, this one would be saying greater than. So it'd be saying 5 is greater than 3. So this one here we see all the time. This is the equal sign. Good. So these are the signs we're going to be using to compare and order numbers. So let's say I had these two numbers. And I wanted to compare it. I use this circle right here. I wanted to compare it to this number. The first thing I want to see is how many digits are in each number. So my first step is to count the digits. So I want to see what place value they're in. This one has ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. That's 5 digits. Ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000. That one also have 5 digits, so that didn't help me. So now I want to start with the greatest place value. Start with greatest place value. So my greatest place value, if I look at this one, I have the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So my greatest place value is a 10,000. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. I can see they're the same digit, so that doesn't help me. Look at the next digit. I'm going to keep going down until I find one that helps me. That's a 3, that's a 3, did not help. Here's a 5, here's a 6. This is a 6 in the hundreds place. This is a 5 in the hundreds place. I would rather have 600 than 500 because 600 is a greater number. So I know this whole number right here is greater. So I'm going to label it greater because that 6 in the hundreds place told me that this whole number was greater. If this one's greater, that means this one's less than. So I know the first number is less than the second number. So the sign I'm going to use is the less than sign, because I know 13,563 is less than 13,635. So that's how we figure out what sign goes here in the circle. So that third step we used was cancel out until one works. All right, so that is comparing numbers using place value and canceling out, starting with the greatest place value. Another thing we're going to do today is order numbers. So this is if we have more than two numbers. So let's say we have these numbers. So I have three numbers. I want to compare them in each one of these circles using one of these signs. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to follow the same steps as comparing numbers. First, I want to count the digits. I want to see which one is the greatest. So here I have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. So this one went up to the millions. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000s. So this one didn't go up to the millions. So I already know this one is greater. So now let's check it with this one. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Didn't have any millions. So I already know this one here is the greatest. So I'm going to label it as greatest. Now let's look at these two numbers. So I already counted the digits. I figured out this one has more digits. It has greater place value. So I know that one was the greatest and I labeled it. Now I'm going to do the same step. I start with greatest place value. So I already know this one's the greatest. So now I want to compare these two. And I want to start with the greatest place value. They have the same amount of digits. So I'm starting both with 100,000. That's a 5. That's a 5. That didn't help. 4, 4. That's the same. That doesn't help. 6, 1. Right there. I can see that the 6 is greater than the 1. That makes this whole number greater than this one. So this one I know is the least. So I'm going to label it as the least. So my third step, which we just did, was cancel out until one works. And if all of them are the same, then that's when we'll use the equal sign. Okay, so now let's figure out what signs go here. So we said this number was greater than this one. So I know I'm going to use the greater than sign because my greater than sign always opens towards the bigger number. So 546,391 is greater than 541,381. And I know this number was less than, so now I'm going to use the less than sign, 1,691,241. Another thing I can do is show my place value chart. If I draw out my place value chart and plug in my numbers, it can also be really easy. So I plug in my first number. That's a 1, 9, 3, 6, 4, 5. So right now I just plugged in the first one. Now I'm plugging in the second one. That's 5, 4, 1, 3, 8, 9. My second number, so I know this is the ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and my millions. So my next digit had a millions place, so I bring it over to the millions place. 691,000, I can't forget my comma. 241. So if I line it up in my place value chart, I can really see which one is greater. This number was all the way in the millions. So I can already see this is the greatest. So if I was ordering from greatest to least, I know this one would go first. So then I check my numbers. That's 5, 5 doesn't help. 4, 4 didn't help. 6, 1. So I know the 6 is greater than the 1. So that makes the whole number greater. So this would be my second number if I was ordering from greatest to least. This number I know is the last. So it would be my last number for the least. So first it would be this one, because it's the greatest. Second would be this one because it's the second greatest. Third would be my middle number. And if it ordered from least to greatest, then I know the third one would go first because that's the smallest one. So be careful when you read these vocabulary words when it says greatest to least or least to greatest.